People have Reddit in virtual classes. What was the worst? Oops, I left my camera/mic on moment. Maybe not quite the same thing, but yesterday a girl fell asleep with her camera on, and she was just lying there with her eyes closed and mouth open for the rest of the lecture. My brother was in class and my mother started to scream, "Your room stinks." Kid screamed FK loudly when we were starting a test. Probably saw the first question then just died inside. I'll sum it up. I had wireless headphones with a mic and left to go to the bathroom. Fuck. I'm a professor running Zoom classes right now. Just the other day I had a student shout "piece of shit" in the middle of one of my lectures. I asked him if my lecture on research credibility was really making him that angry, and then heard "oh shit, my mic is." I was yelling to my mom what I wanted for lunch. I looked back at the screen and everybody was laughing. My sister was in a Zoom lecture for her university course. All were required to turn on cameras for this specific lecture, and some guy obviously forgot and lit a joint on camera to 30+ other students and his lecturer. I'm a music professor, and one day I was playing an example for my class that was about a minute and a half long. Afterwards I realized that I never turned on audio sharing. I apologized to the students and laughed, and one of them said, "It's cool, professor." _5, it's fun to sit and watch you vibe to music. A girl I know had her camera and mic on for answering some question. Her dad didn't know that she was attending classes and he farted out loud. We saw her die on the inside. Was watching Game of Thrones and it was on a SX scene while in class, but then the teacher gave us a class work and she told me to screen share it, but I screen shared the wrong screen. More like my cat turned the mic on as I'm yelling and swearing at him to get off my keyboard. Someone in my class turned on their mic, coughed loudly for 20-ish seconds, and turned it off. Calamity ensued. Yelling down to my mother, "Yes, Russia is in Asia," during physics. Bonus round, cussing out a fighting game during a rough match while my dad was, unbeknownst to me, in a meeting, unmuted, nearby. I had a Socratic seminar, so it was mandatory to keep our cameras on. I forgot about it and thoroughly licked a yogurt container I has just finished. I still don't know if anyone noticed. I've been told I killed my 11 years/our social life by yelling "enjoy the diarrhea" at her younger sister when I saw she had eaten an entire box of ice cream bars at once. I was in another room and had no idea my voice carried. My husband is a chemistry professor. He was teaching a class via Zoom and overheard a female student say she'd like to punch him in the face. Ha ha ha. OJFC, finally a story I can, unfortunately, share. Had my teacher asked me a question while I was mid-conversation with someone who told me they could do an Elmo impression. Naturally, I asked for an example. After being called on and bullshitting an answer, I was so invested in this chick's Elmo impression that I forgot to mute my mic. Broadcasted someone saying my name is Elmo to the entire class. Loudly. I sneezed and a huge booger flew out. They saw. Some of it got on my hand. Some of it got on the camera. I've heard the N-word more in the past year than I had in my life up until that point. Not the worst but funny. Teacher warned us he was going to ask a bunch of questions and he expected participation. I said instinctively, "Oh God no," and he heard me crystal clear. Not in a class and just with friends, but I accidentally left my mic on while eating soup once. When I put my headphones back on, everyone was laughing hysterically at what they thought was weird SX noises. It didn't happen to me, but my friend said out loud that she hadn't attended the lessons for ages and that the teacher was ugly. Of course the teacher screamed, "Turn the mic off." One of my 5th graders took the whole class to the bathroom. Video off, microphone on. I heard someone's brother getting beat in the background. I was in class and some kid accidentally turned his mic on somehow and all I could hear was the loudest fart ever imagined and then said, "Sorry, I didn't realize my mic was on." When I forgot to turn off my video and my cat attacked me. Someone sneezed at the beginning of an exam and some kid told them shut the FK up hard. My teacher was reading out attendance. She mispronounced my friend's name and my friend said that bitch can't even say my name correctly. Luckily he said it in English during French class so my teacher didn't exactly understand, as well as the fact that there was a lot of background noise from other mics. I know he said it because I was on a call with him. I asked a question during a lecture and the teacher was answering me. She was standing at the board away from her computer, so I'm hoping she didn't hear me muttering what the FK as she was explaining it. I was getting more confused. Lol. My mic was on. I wanted to die. None. I'm too paranoid to miss something like that. Not a class, But my work meeting, we had about 15 people on the video call when a co-worker that had a wide-angle camera that showed above his head and down to his waist. He was on camera when he shoved his hand down his pants to straighten his DK/balls. Had it in there for a good 10 seconds before pulled his hand out. A few minutes later, used the same hand to pick up a Dorito and eat it. I didn't notice I was streaming Roblox for the whole class. Uni course, Security and Global Governance. I was sitting at my kitchen table drinking a quad-iced flat white. I had the CUTESD light pink slouch sweater from Garage on. Spilled coffee all down my chest, panicked, ripped my shirt off. Flashed my entire seminar. It wasn't me, but in college in Ireland a few weeks after college started a girl was in a lecture over Zoom and accidentally unmuted her mic and she was going at it with a lad and all you could hear was the girl orgasming and the lecturer didn't understand what was happening until he realized it wasn't a joke. But at that point numerous people had videoed the audio of the Zoom call and sent it around the country fairly fast. The girl still didn't realize until after as the lecturer eventually removed her from the call. During orientation on Zoom, some guy said, "Man, this class so fucking dumb." I felt really bad for the teacher. My cat, Pookie, is a screamer when he wants attention. And by that, he sounds like he is being murdered. During a Zoom session for my ethics class the other day, it was me presenting my topic about my case study when Pookie decided to give his battle cry and hopped on the bed behind me. Got a good grade for my work and at the end I now think that my professor likes Pookie more than me as a pupil. Not a specific incident, but I had an early elective class. So about 200 people, last semester where half of us showed up in person and half of us were on Zoom. I guess the professor set the meeting setting for everyone to be unmuted by default when joining because every single day we would have to hear someone on Zoom who didn't mute have breakfast with what would sound like their whole frat/sorority, presumably with their phone on the meeting in their pocket, while the technologically inept professor struggled to figure out how to mute them for the first 10 minutes of class. Honestly, when I was taking a community college class, half the people gave no FKS and left their mics on intentionally to insult the profs. That school was so ghetto. A girl forgot to mute her mic and we all could hear her talk to her boyfriend. "Hey, give me a kiss. Why don't you ever want to kiss me?" Very sad and very weird. The teacher just continued as if nothing happened. Not too bad, but I didn't realize my mic was on until after I sneezed 10 times in a row. The teacher said "bless you" and moved on while I felt like banging my head against the wall. I joined the class on my phone and thought I had my mic muted. I put my phone on my music stand and did some piano practice since the lesson hadn't really started, and after I finished playing the first piece my history teacher said that was some lovely piano playing, but can we get to the lesson now? My husband was in a work meeting virtually. He began talking and my daughter shouts out, "Wipe my bum please." I laughed for ages. In a biogeochemistry Zoom QA session, I was having trouble adjusting out of gallery view. The professor was screen sharing and using the whiteboard feature. As I moved my mouse to navigate out of gallery view, apparently I was drawing on his board in neon green, with my name flashing each time. He admonished me by name for doodling. I pulled the plug on my computer. Lol. Girl in my class was caught vaping on camera. She was 13. I was in the middle of an Irish class when I asked my dad, "Can I leave this class? It's so fucking boring," and my mic was on. Smiley face. I didn't join a class for a week out of embarrassment. Some guy had left his camera on and started jacking off on front of around 400 people. Yesterday I was making autistic meowing sounds at my cat, and the cat wasn't visible in my camera. When I looked back at the computer, everyone was silent and I noticed my microphone was on. For about a week everyone thought I had a mental illness. Someone's parents started making out in the back while we were doing tribes. I wish I had bleach for my eyes. I had to ask a question during lecture, so I put my mic on, but my cat didn't like me moving as she was sleeping on my lap. So she did a parkour move and jumped against my belly and away from there. So as I put my mic on, the first thing that the teacher and others heard was "uck." This happening 2 times in one day because I blocked the microphone access. I was singing Gorillaz or something and I had my camera on while fucking playing Animal Crossing. Carrot picked my nose. I didn't realize my camera was on.